My name is Margaret Sass. I'm with Purdue University, and I'm going to be interviewing these lovely ladies regarding the English language and how it can be really confusing when you're first coming to the United States. So the first person I'll be talking to is Tina, who is the most recent to the United States. So Tina, I want to know, what did you learn when you first came to the United States, and what type of words you came across that you didn't really understand?
I have so many, in fact. I'm from China, and I do some English in China, but although this, I met so many words confused me. Like the first email I received from my boss, Chantal, she just told me how to meet her. And I remember she said the touch base, but I can't understand what's the meaning of touch base. In my understanding of base, it is about basement. So I will try to understand this way. Could I go underground or maybe someplace? I don't know. But later, when I asked my roommates about this word touch base, they told me that should meet somebody again or communicate a bit. And when I asked a friend, they told me different things. One is that it is about baseball game. So they often say in this way, baseball game, touch base. So it means meet or communicate a bit. And another person told me that base means what? Means in the army, it means headquarters. So sometimes it's very important when you face somebody, you think you are equal, boss to worker, worker to boss. So you are equal to communicate. She wants to show you are equal. So like touch base, this word, I get confused about it at the beginning, and later I know much about it. And another one should be another example, another story is makeup. In fact, when I learned this word, I learned it from some makeups in our daily lives. And in the class, the professor said that if you miss, you will never make up in my class in the exam. But somebody will get confused about it. They will think, oh, makeup, there's no makeup in professor's class, so I can't make up myself's face. Oh, it's not good, so I don't come again. So the girl doesn't come to class again, but professor doesn't know that.
Right.
Okay, he will think, oh, maybe she doesn't like my class, but it's not true. Because she just thinks it's terrible without making ups like this way. And later, she knows that makeup means what? Like me, we think makeup means making us our facial things, but it's not. It means in the class, if you miss the examination, you miss the homework, you cannot make it a second time. You have no other time to just hand in your papers. So another example like this is also hard copy. In China, we often say you hand in your paper,
right.
But in American class, professor often say, take me your hard copy.
Right.
We didn't know what is hard copy in fact. It sounds like, well, hard copy means copy, just copy some books, copy some papers, but we don't know what is hard copy. And we get confused at the very beginning. We don't know what we take for the professor. Later on, some students about that, my classmates, they told me differently. And they told me, you should take your papers directly, papers, not electronic one. No, when I check some words online about hard copy, in fact, I find the opposite meaning of hard copy should be soft copy. But it's a little funny. American people doesn't use soft copy, right?
Right.
But we know hard copy, soft copy, they use electronic one as the opposite meaning of hard copy. So it just make us very confused about this word.
Have you thought about talking to the professor first to kind of clarify some of these words?
Yeah, they can. Yeah, okay. I think it's a good idea to talk with my professor about it. But sometimes American professors, when they teach, they think, oh, maybe we have a known language, American language, English very, very well. So they can speak in a fast way. Sometimes even the words and the speed of language we can't follow. Yeah, I think that is a problem for us to continue to like this. Another one, I think that recently something happened. Like some emergency happened, dangerous things happened, we will receive the email from our maybe our boss, our workmates, our classmates. And when the emergency removed, they gave me an email like this. The alert was lifted. But according to my understanding, lifted means what? Physically, lift means raise something up. So the alert was lifted.
Okay, yeah,
It means
I see
what
you mean.
Yeah, it means just maybe it's upgrading.
Right.
But it's just on the contrary.
Right.
So we understand totally wrongly. But in fact, it means what means there's no alert anymore. It's just something. Maybe every American people, they understand this way. They know each other.
Right.
They know the words, but they think, oh, we should know that, but we didn't know. But so someday we will ask, oh, what's the result of this thing? Do you know? I have no idea. I don't know whether it's good or bad. I don't know. It's settled or it's continuing. So it's different for us. Another one, just I see people from, I see just a notice about this. Our center's spring meeting like this will kick off. So kick off, it sounds like get rid of something, kick something or somebody away from you. So it's totally different from the original meaning in English.
Yeah, opposite actually. Yes.
So kick off means what? Means just
the starting of something.
It's come from some football match. When you say something a big event will start, you just want to make it very formal. You just everybody attention please. So you say kick off, but we never say this way. I'm curious why Americans say in this way. We can say start, but it's not formal. It's not very. It doesn't mean a big event, right?
Right.
So that's my confusing things about this, and surely I have another one. I think this example is recently. Yes, this night I was invited by a scholar welcome reception. I will go there, but they email me first. They gave me an email like this: if you want to come, please RSVP. Like let us know mean that. Let us know whether you come or not. But
Right.
I don't know what does RSVP stand for, so I didn't answer. And later they are very hurried to know whether I come or not. So they email me again. I didn't answer either. So, I'm not rude, but because I don't know that. And my boss gave me some email. She said to me, Tina, do you know this thing? I know. But she said, why didn't you answer the letter? I said, I didn't. They just tell me the notice about that, the time, the place. Why did I just email back? She said RSVP is it's a French name, just means répondre s'il vous plaît. Respond, please. I have no idea. Response, please. So I just make something wrong, maybe. So somebody is very hurried to know whether I can come. I think it's already overdue. So I just email her to say sorry. I'm so sorry because I don't know this word. And you know what? When she emailed me back, she said, please disregard. Okay, it got me confused again. Disregard. I think regard means respect somebody, right? Disregard means maybe I do something wrong. She said, I didn't respect you anymore. I guess in this way. But when I asked somebody, they told me that please disregard means please forget it.
Right.
So it's totally different.
Right, 2 words at one time that you're confused about.
Yeah, just the email.
Yes. Have any of you had this problem with emails at all recently? Oh, yeah, I know that you've been in the United States for a little bit longer, as you just came a couple of months ago. So have you?
So yes, I think that. So I've been here longer now,
Right.
actually, and I think it's really interesting when I think back, because when you first come, you have a feeling when you start going to class, for instance, as an undergrad, that you're understanding almost everything, and then you realize, no, not really.
Yeah.
And it's like because these little idioms that people start using that you never are taught in school. Like there's no way that they can possibly teach it, and only native speakers actually can have the cultural slang.
That's
sort
true.
of, because that's never on textbooks. And so sometimes, especially with humor, this would happen a lot. Like you won't get a joke, and because it's very bizarre. And there's, for instance, movies that I may have seen before in English to practice listening, and I was like, oh, nice movie. And then I watched them now, like 10 years later, I was like, that's hilarious. But like in the moment, I didn't get like half of it, you know, or a TV show even, like popular TV shows. And then later you realize that you're missing a lot of things. And little words I remember, like for instance, I don't know, things that people take for granted, like, oh, piece of cake. And I'll be like, so from the context, you sort of get that they mean, oh, it's like an easy thing, but you're like, why piece of cake? Like, I was thinking cake is first of all very hard to bake. It is. Like, it's like, for me, it's like I don't, you know, like you don't necessarily make the connections very easy of why the idiom, like those like throwing the ball, like, or, you know, oh, just throw the ball, or like things like that about like job or making the grade, or, you know, some things that you can sort of get the context, but they still sound very off.
Right.
Basically, and I remember that when I first came here, and this I feel happens to many international students, is that you start hanging out with not only like maybe, so I'm Hispanic, my background, right? So I speak Spanish, and I would hang out with a lot of people that speak Spanish, of course, because you just feel more comfortable speaking, but also other international students. For some bizarre reason, you start hanging out with a lot of international students, and it just naturally happens that way.
Right.
And so everybody's sort of on the same boat without like lacking these idioms that are so important in the culture of the language and the dialect. So only when you actually start making friends from the place where you're like American native speakers or English speakers, then you start picking up slowly these little things. And it's only when, and you just have to ask, I guess, like, what does that mean? And I'm still now, after years, learn new things, like things I've never heard before from friends, like little expressions like that, you know.
And well, it changes all the time.
I do feel more comfortable now that I've been here for almost 5 years. There are still some things that it just seems not to change. It seems that I'll never learn them. For example, the word push, it's a cognate for pull in Portuguese.
Oh, okay.
As a consequence, I never know what to do with doors. When they say pull, I push. When they say push, I just pull.
I still do that anyway, and I know the language.
5 years later, I'm still pushing when I should pull and pulling when I should push. So, but definitely with time, you just get more used to these cognates and to expressions like Roger that. The other day, I was talking to someone on Gmail, and then this person said, Roger that, and then I was like, maybe he was talking to someone named Roger, and he just has the wrong window for the person. And then I realized, like, oh, Roger that. It's like, it's an expression. I should look it up.
Oh, did you look it up?
I looked it up.
And where did you look it up at to figure out what it really meant?
Like anything you put on Google, you find an answer. Okay. And I think Roger that is something that they use in their arm, and so.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kayla, what about you?
I think just like what Tina says, when we just got here, we tend to take things literally. So, for example, if I say I complain about waiter to you, or I complain how terrible my class is, and you say, yeah, tell me about it, and then I will be like, didn't I just tell you? Why you are still asking? Because literally, tell me about it means you want to know more. But actually, you are just agreeing with me. Yeah, tell me about it.
So she's already using slang on you.
Yes, I mean things like that. So you sometimes you don't know. You just take everything literally. You start tell me about it is you want to know more. So I will tell you a little bit more. Or another way is like you say I cannot agree with you more. That's kind of tricky to me because I heard. Oh, cannot, so you don't agree with me. Yeah. But actually, the tricky part is at the end of the sentence is more. So you agree with me so much that to a degree you cannot agree with me more. So that got me confused too. So it's things like this that sometimes, yeah.
So how can we stop from doing that? Should we just stop and pause and think about what we're saying? Or should we create a book of all the weird things that we say so you can look it up? How do you think that would help everyone?
Well, actually, recently I have been using the Urban Dictionary. I don't know if you heard about it.
Really good.
Which dictionary?
Urban Dictionary.
So they have a special dictionary.
It's not for
slam,
yeah, for
international.
Yes. No, it's everybody. It's actually really helpful.
but we need it.
Because
Urban
there are
Dictionary.
words that may
It's
have
online.
like a generic meaning, but then they're used in society differently.
Yes.
So when you go to Urban Dictionary, it tells you it's used like these things, like
Yeah.
actual use of people's, expressions and things like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think it also
Wow.
should be like a collaboration and people, both the international population being more willing to ask questions and be less shy about it. And say, what does that, just really want to pick up on things. And then, because most people are very willing to explain. And I think that,
But I think it's a little common for everybody. It's not very specific. So if, according to me, I like to publish a book like this. It's about some words in classroom, in married. When you get married, maybe sometimes surely you will experience the shock of language and culture. So even for Purdue University, we have so many characteristics like Blackboard, Basecamp, like Anchor program in our center. So if you didn't introduce something before somebody come to America, maybe surely they will feel very embarrassed and very, very strange when they came here. But if we give them some introduction before, I think it surely be better. So I consider about to publish this book, so many words put inside like what we are talking about. So I think it's maybe can help. It's beneficial for somebody.
So to give it to students before they come to Purdue or United States,
Yeah.
so they kind of know what the
A few of
English
the
domestic
most
students say.
common, because you still have to, I feel, hear it in context. Sometimes you just look at a dictionary and like it explains more or less, but it
Right.
really makes sense to you once you have the experience of that expression being said in front of you. And I think that professors and teachers should be very aware of who the audience is also, because they may
Yes.
assume precisely like, oh, piece of cake is like really easy to understand or whatever the expression, or makeup exam. Makeup exam, any professor would assume that everybody knows what that means, and it's actually written on the syllabus. No makeup exams in this class, and you're like, no incomplete, and I was like, what? Like, you're not even used to this system specifically, so they really should be aware of that. And even with the examples that they give in the classroom, because a lot of times it's like about American culture, right? Like some famous
Right.
thing, or I remember I never forgot this, because one time we were playing, like it was a class, but for some reason there was an activity where you had to do something like a charade maybe, and and I remember getting, I think it was Baby Ruth, or is that some baby baseball person?
It's
And I was
Babe
like,
Ruth.
yeah, right. But like, and everybody supposedly should know this, but like, I really have no idea who Baby Ruth was, and I was like, excuse me, can I consult you? And somebody told me, just do a baby and baseball. I'm like, okay, but I really had no idea, and I did baby and baseball, and then everybody, I mean, whoever in my team got it, but I still remember thinking like, I don't know, and like examples that they may use about movies or media, like people. I mean, it doesn't only change by generation, but it also definitely for international students may be very hard to understand that an example if they use only very specific.
Even something is very easy, like what we are talking about more about what's up and how are you. You think how are you? You use it very often. I don't know. I have no idea. When you talk about how are you, Tina, I try to understand this way. Maybe for most of Chinese people, we think you do care about my things, my life. So we will tell you blah, 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 many things. Oh, I do my research. I listen to some courses. I cook. I what? But you didn't want me to talk about many things like this. But we don't know. So you say, how are you? We say many things. And later we will ask you, why you often ask me, how are you? I'm fine. In China, we will listen to this question. We will answer in shorter way. We answer, how are you? Fine, thank you. And you? This is the language we have taught or learned in classroom. So not the daily life using. It's totally different.
Right.
And another one, what's up? When you say, what's up? Maybe we think something happened, bad things. So we were very nervous about it. But you think, how to answer this question? What's up? We have no idea. Somebody just answer in this way. What's up?
Not much.
Not much.
I mean,
Not much.
For me, not much. Still understandable. I mean, when you say not much, not much going on in my life. But what still confused me a little bit is when people reply, "What's up?" back. Like, "What's up? What's up?" So I feel that's a question that's a question that is not being answered. So
Oh, when they go back and forth and say,
like,
what's up, what's
What's
up?
up?
Probably
Yeah.
because they're not paying attention, and so they're just repeating.
but I think that's a way that younger
Saying,
generation.
hey,
Hey,
And you know what
what's
happened
Up? What's up?
for some Japanese?
true.
I remember one Japanese. Yeah, this is a story about Japanese person. He said, when you say "What's up," because he is I think he is old enough. He's maybe 70 years old, like this. So maybe when he learned English, there's no "What's up," this greeting. So somebody asked him, "What's up?" He really, according to the literally meaning, "What's up?" So he's answering this way: ceiling, sky, cloud, like this. So it really funny, right?
I think it's because when you get here, we have a bookish English, something we learn,
Right.
which is not realistic. I remember ordering food when I got here, and I ordered a sandwich, and I said without mayonnaise, and this guy looked at me, and then later I found out that people don't say without for food; they say no. And they don't, and nobody says mayonnaise. People say mayo. But that's what I learned in the
Mayonnaise.
book, and I was trying it out.
And with food, I remember also going to, I don't know,
Restricting.
Subway or like Jimmy Johnson. They're like, white or wheat? And I was like, excuse me? White or wheat? And they're like, what? Like white or wheat bread? And they said so fast, I was like, I have no idea what they're asking. I was like, number 13? White or wheat? 13? You know, like, and you feel like so strange because, or for here to go, like that also, I remember at the beginning, I was like, what? Like takeout? Because like takeout, like all these terms for restaurants, you may not necessarily know either.
Oh,
at the
and do you want a
beginning.
box? Why would I need a box in a restaurant?
to go. you
Oh,
mean
to
that?
go after
To
you
go.
finish eating. Okay.
So we just
okay.
do that literally.
Yeah.
We used to call it a doggy bag.
Oh, that even worse, right? Like harder to
Give
understand.
it to your pet afterwards? Or?
Well, sometimes you would give it to your dog. I mean, a lot of humans just go ahead and eat it, but they would call it doggy bag. Yeah, we want a doggy bag. Is what we call it. Some people still call it that. So I guess I didn't realize how much we say things that really don't make sense, or where they even came from in the first place. Like piece of cake, I have no clue. No clue.
And like, or I'm feeling peachy or under the weather. Like peachy, for instance, I remember first time I heard, I was like, is that good or bad? Like, it's like, because you don't know.
I
what
think
the,
I said
the
it.
condition of the peach. Like, well, it's like, do you like peach or not? Like, you know, it could be bad, it could be good, or like, I wasn't even sure what it meant. Like, you know, because you just hear it and you get a sense of, okay, it's portraying some feeling of how you are, but you still don't know exactly what it means. Under the weather, at least, sort of. Have you heard that? Like, I'm feeling under the weather. Like at the beginning, you don't know. You feel like it's negative, but you still don't know specifically what the person means with it.
So you're listening to the tone a little bit when
Yeah,
someone's
sometimes
saying
Yeah, the
something.
context. Yeah, definitely. Because otherwise, if you just hear the word or the expression.
And I think after a while, the context, you start paying attention to the context, and it helps a lot. I remember hearing for the first time the expression "the rainy days," but since we were talking about money, I was like, okay, the rainy days must be the bad days, the days you just like your finances are not going that well. But I have never heard that before, so I would just use the context to
Or
figure
cutting
it out.
corners. You know, somebody cutting corners somewhere. Meaning, you're like, what? Like,
Or someone did something out of blue. That one got me
Oh,
for
out
a
of
while.
blue.
Why is out of blue, not out of orange? Or out of
yeah,
Out of
out of
Do you know
nowhere.
the answer why it's out of
I-
blue?
Could try, then I would probably be wrong. I didn't even think about what we say all the time, and we say this all day long. So it must be confusing every single day, I would think. Well, you've been here longer, but for Tina, it's probably every day, right?
Yeah, every day I experience some hard time like this, and really confused me at most. And even when I ask somebody, it's very difficult for me to understand their explanation too,
Oh, okay.
because they use some American language. I fail to understand to some way.
So you use the Urban Dictionary as well.
Oh, I often check on Google like her. Yeah, I think Google helps me a lot because Google is very helpful, like checking words very immediately. Just like I told about this, the hard copy. So I check on Google, there's a soft copy. I understand immediately, although you didn't use soft copy, but I know the opposite meaning, so I can understand better.
Do they have a pronunciation on the Urban Dictionary where you can click on it and they say it for you?
I'm not sure if it's... Some dictionaries would have it, like word reference, I think, and like have several languages. I'm not sure about Urban Dictionary. They would have the phonetics sort of thing, but most people don't understand how to read that, right?
The major
like the
function
phonetic
Yes, the phonetics.
Yeah.
The major function is for the meaning, the hidden meaning of a slang. They will
That's
give you the
and they will give you
original.
examples. I think it's
How do
actually
you
really
use
good.
it in the sentence?
Just the use it, no pronunciation. I think
For
so.
some words, it doesn't matter if I listen to the pronunciation because you know how English has way more vowels than Portuguese. That is my first language. So there are some words like cheap for inexpensive and cheap, which I really don't hear the difference. And when I try to listen to it, for me, they're saying the exactly same thing.
Yeah, for me, like a flyer, we have so many flyers here. You mentioned flyer, just like this piece of paper, means handout, means poster. But we seldom use flyer. Ever beginning when I came to America, somebody told me flyer, I think. Flyer? What is flyer? Fly means fly. Flyer means somebody fly. Means pilot. Means flying. I'm confused about it. But later somebody told me it just means handout. Something handout or poster. Oh, I don't know why you say plus ER. According to the English, we learn in this way. If one word plus ER means somebody, maybe I understand in this way.
But what I think makes the most difference is to actually interact the most amount of time possible with native speakers. Because I was here, for instance, for my undergrad, and 3 years later, I would still not be able to speak fluently in English. Like, you know, you stop and you think about it, and you translate, and, you know, like you have that blog where you first start learning a language. And then I actually went to China for 6 months. And I had no choice but to speak either English or Mandarin, right? Like 24/7 with the American students that were going with me on the exchange thing. And I learned a little bit of Mandarin also, right? But like in the moment I was forced to actually just start speaking English. And I remember like after a month, literally, it actually shocked me, like that step of translating like from Spanish to English went away completely. But it was because I was actually using it. So I would really recommend, like, to international students, like, speak as much as you can in English, even if you make mistakes. Like, there are things that you're never going to be perfect, like pronunciation and prepositions and things like that are always, like, very difficult. Prepositions are very difficult because they change in so many languages. The same preposition is used differently. And
they don't make any sense.
They don't make any sense.
But it's for us, it doesn't, because we use it so differently. And it's the same when students are learning Spanish or Chinese. But I would suggest that to really actually speak it, it's not the same. Like listening and reading, it's okay, but only when we start speaking it, I feel like something happens that the language gets better ingrained, and then you're able to understand the explanations better because you're speaking it. So that's what she was saying. Like sometimes they explain and I still don't understand.
Yeah.
But the more you speak, the more you will actually get it.
Yes.
So, well, thank you for sharing all your information. I really appreciate understanding where you're coming from, because being born and raised in United States, even with an Asian mother and a Caucasian father, I still do not, I have a clue what I say all day long, and I'm realizing it, especially when I just thought I said peachy keen yesterday. So now I'm concerned about what I'm saying out there, especially when I have international students. So sorry to everybody. But I really do appreciate you coming here and sharing this information. Perhaps we can do a better job of trying to understand and share the English language so everyone can comprehend it. So thank you for joining us. Bye.